गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ श्री राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे जय जगन्नाथ जगन्नाथ बालदेवा जय सुभद्रमाय जय गौरनिताय 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 जय गौरनिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल नमो विश्वपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय नमाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि श्री गौर भक्तवृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय श्री श्री वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय श्री श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय गंगा माय जमुना माय की जय भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय उपस्थित समस्त गौर भक्तवृंद की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, titled Prayers by Queen Kunti and Parikshit Saved. Text number 24. Vishan Mahagne Purusha Darshanad. Vishan Mahagne Purusha Darshanad. Asat Sabhaya Vanavasa Krichrataha. Asat Sabhaya Vanavasa Krichrataha. Mride Mride Aneka Maharatha Strato. Mridhe mridhe aneka maharatrastrato. Drauni astrastas chashma hare abhirakshitaha. Drauni astrastas chashma hare abhirakshitaha. Vishan mahagne purushada darshana. Asat sabhaya vanavasha krichrata. Mridhe mridhe aneka maharatrastrato. Drauni astrastas chashma hare abhirakshitaha. Vishan mahagne purushada darshana. Asat sabhaya vanavasha krichrata. Mridhe mridhe aneka maharatrastrato. Drauni astrastas chashma hare abhirakshitaha. Vishan mahagne purushada darshana. Ashrat sabhaya vanavasha krishrata. Mridhe mridhe aneka maharatrastrato. Drauni astratas chashma hare virakshitaha. Vishan mahagne purushada darshanat. Ashat sabhaya vanavasha krishrataha. Mridhe mridhe aneka maharatrastrato. Drauni asratsas chashma hare abhirakshitaha. Vishan mahagne purushada darshana. Ashat sabhaya vanavasha krichrataha. Mridhe mridhe aneka maharatrastrato. Drauni astrastas chashma hare virakshitaha. Vishan mahagne purushada darshana. Ashat sabhaya vanavasha krishrata. Mridhe mridhe aneka maharatrastrato. Drauni astrastas chashma hare abhirakshitaha. Vishad, from poison. Mahagnaya, from the great fire. Purushada, the man-eaters. Darshanat, by combating. Asat, vicious. Savayaha, as assembly. Vanavasa, exiled to the forest. Krichrata, sufferings. Mridhe mridhe, again and again in battle. Aneka, many. Maharatha, great generals. Astrataha, weapons. Drauni, the son of Dronacharya. Astrataha, from the weapon of. Cha, and. Asma, indicating past tense. Hare, O my Lord. Abhirakshitaha, protected completely. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. My dear Krishna, your Lordship has protected us from a poison cake, from a great fire, from cannibals, from the vicious assembly, from sufferings during our exile in the forest, and from the battle where great generals fought. And now you have saved us from the weapon of Ashwatthama. Purport. The list of dangerous encounters is submitted herein. Devaki was once put into difficulty by her envious brother. Otherwise, she was well. But Kunti Devi and her sons were put into one difficulty after another for years and years together. They were put into trouble by Duryodhana and his party due to the kingdom, and each and every time the son of Kunti were saved by the Lord. One Bhima was administered poison in a keg. Once they were put into the house made by Shalak and set fire. And once Draupadi was dragged out and attempts were made to insult her by stripping her naked in the vicious assembly of the Kurus. The Lord saved Draupadi by supplying an immeasurable length of cloth, and Duryodhana's party failed to see her naked. Similarly, when they were exiled in the forest, Bhima had to fight with the man-eater demon Hirimba Rakshasa. But the Lord saved him. So it was not finished there. After all these turbulations, there were the great battle of Kurukshetra, and Arjuna had to meet such generals as Drona, Bhishma, and Karna, all powerful fighters. And at last, even when everything was done away with, there was the Brahmastra, released by the son of Dronacharya to kill the child within the womb of Uttara. And so the Lord saved the only surviving descendants of the Kurus, Maharaja Parikshit. Om Agyana Timrandhasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shriuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Gunatam Tam Sachiv Swadvaitam Savadutam Priyana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Nithamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinavandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrinda Vaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpataru Vasya Kripa Sindhu Vaevacha Patitanang Pavanevyo Vaishnavebyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaura Bhaktarvinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So in this verse, we see that Kunti Maharani actually listing all the terrible situations that herself and the Pandava has to go through from the beginning. So if we go back, obviously, like, when it all started. So there were three brothers, obviously, we all know. Pandu, Dhritarashtra, and Vidur. And when the time comes to make the king, who will be the king, Vidur was a, child of the servant. So he couldn't become the king. Dhritarashtra, he was blind, so kind of handicapped. So that's why Pandu becomes the choice. But it was not only for that. Pandu was the eligible one. So at that point of time, when Pandus, became the king, and he was ruling the whole kingdom as per the dharma. But Dhritarashtra always had this envy in him that he couldn't become the king. although Dhritarashtra was more powerful, like, like from physically, because he was like, you see, like, when someone becomes handicapped, like, or like from birth, one of their like senses become like, so suppose like they can't see or they can't hear, like, but one of the other senses becomes really powerful. Like that's how it generally works. Like I don't want to generalize it, but it's happened most of the time. So Dhritarashtra, he was like, blind, but like he had like the strength of 10,000 elephant. So we see that, when at the end of the battle, when the Pandavas went to meet and Dhritarashtra was saying that, oh, please come and embrace me. So everybody went ahead, but when Bhima was supposed to go ahead and embrace Dhritarashtra, Krishna stopped him. And he actually moved forward. The iron Bhima, which the Bhima statue made of iron, which Duryodhana built for practicing. So Duryodhana used to have an iron statue of Bhima in his room, and he used to practice with his mace on that every day. So you can imagine, like, what kind of, like, ferocity that Duryodhana had. So anyway, so Krishna just forwarded that iron statue, and Dhritarashtra just like, when embraced and just broke it to pieces. Like it literally broke into pieces. So the intention was like, when he embraced Bhima, he was going to kill him. So we see that, Krishna again was there and saved Bhima. So Dhritarashtra was like there, like, but he was like envious, like, he couldn't become the king. So here, like, we see that Pandu, and then what happened that Pandu's sons, they were raising up nicely. And all of them, like, they can see that the difference between the son of the Pandu and the son of Dhritarashtra. So in the meantime, what happened that one time Pandu went for, like, as a Kshatriya, went for hunting. And there is this pastime that by mistake he killed Kandama Muni. He killed, who was like, was intimate with his wife at this point of time, and he killed him. And that Muni gave curse to Pandu that whenever you want to become intimate with your wife, like, you will die. So in due course of time, like, at one point of time, Pandu becomes intimate with Madri, his another wife, and like, he died. So, and then Madri took, like, she also took this decision to go to the fire along with her husband, which is like a sati. So now all the responsibilities on Kunti to bring up all these 5 children. So all these 5 children then came to the palace to stay with the Kauravas, because now, like, they have to stay together because they don't have father. So from the beginning, like, as Dhritarashtra had this animosity towards, like, the Pandu, his sons also started to grow up this animosity towards all the Pandavas. And also there is like, we see that there is another linking up here, that when the Kauravas were born, like, they are also born of envy. Gandhari, she was becoming like really envious because of the fact that she was like, she got a boon from Vedavyas that she is going to have these children, and they were in her womb, but they were not coming out. And she was getting really, like, she was getting really anxious that what's happening. And she saw that all the Pandava boys were growing up nicely. And this, like, she was like, Gandhari was pregnant for a long time. And at one point of time, she got like so upset and like, she was like so angry. She started beating on her, like, on her belly. Like, just imagine, for a mother, she takes care of her like unborn child like anything. But Draupadi was like beating Like, come out, come out. What's happening with all of you? Like, why are you not coming out? She was envy because, that she sees that all the Pandava sons are there. So what happened after that? There is a lump of meat which came out from her belly. And then she was thinking like, oh, what happened now? Like, there is no child. So then again, like Vedavyas came there, and because he gave the boon, so he said, okay, now like let me work it out, what to do. So that lump of meat, he divided it into 100 different pieces and put it into different pots, 100 different pots, and then did a fire sacrifice. And from that 100 pots, 100 children came out. So these are the birth story of the Kauravas. Again, came out of enviousness. So that's why we see that, the main lesson here is when someone becomes parents, it's a very big responsibility, because whatever the consciousness they will hold, that somehow or other flows into the child. Like that is there. Now, obviously, there are other factors. It's also not always true that if the demoniac, if they had demoniac nature, the child will be also demoniac. Like we see the example of Parikshit Maharaj. So it's not always the case, but in this case, it happened like that. So then, the Kauravas, they are always very, very, they always say that, how to defeat the Pandavas, how to make them small, how to, discriminate them all the time. And as, so the Pandavas, Yudhishthir, so they came to the palace, they started living there. So they are the son of the king. So when the king is not there, who is supposed to be the next king? So obviously, who should be the prince? Yudhishthir, automatic, because Dhritarashtra never became a king. So Duryodhana never had that right to become the prince. So Yudhishthir becomes automatically that choice. And that also, Duryodhana was burning from inside. Just imagine, he's like a small child. We're not talking about they haven't grown up yet. But still, when they were this small kid, it was eating him from inside. And especially with Bhim, because Bhima, he was the strongest one, and both used to have both used to practice mace under Dronacharya. So they used to always compete with each other. So he always had this competitiveness against Bhima, that how to beat him, but he couldn't, because Bhima was really powerful. So one day, what happened after the Gurukul and after their practice, weapon practice, they went to play, they had a lake there, not a lake, sorry, a river. So they all went to play in the river. And they were playing different kind of games in the water, and Duryodhana, and Duryodhana, he was always, from the beginning, he was always reserved. He didn't want to go and play with everyone. He wanted to maintain his position. So he was sitting on a corner, and Dushasana was with him. And they were saying that, oh, Bhima was having very nice time. He was taking all the brothers and he was throwing them like a ball, because he was so powerful. He was throwing them like this and then catching up them, and everyone was having so much fun. And when you are really envious of someone and you see that that person is having so much good time, that actually started to burn you more and more. And then Duryodhana was saying, no, that's it. So today we have to make it. We have to do something. So what they did, they made this special laddu, here it says the cakes with poison. It's a very powerful poison, And they actually, and everybody knew that Bhima, whatever everyone eats, the 100 brothers and the 4 brothers, 104 of them, whatever they eat, Bhima eats more than that. So always the arrangement was, this is the food, so this is for all of you, and the half of it is all for Bhima. So then what they did, they made this laddu with poison. They put big thalis of laddu, and they actually kept it on the Bhima's side. So after that, when Bhima came out of the water, they were all very tired, because obviously after the play, and they wanted to eat. And suddenly Bhima that day, he notices that Duryodhana is becoming really nice to him. When he came out, Duryodhana ran to him with the towel, said, brother, please come out, you are really tired, please come. And then he took him and said, please sit, and now please eat. And Bhima was like, he was so much engrossed into eating, he didn't think of all these like diplomatic or political things. He said, okay, let me eat. So he started eating. And Duryodhana and Dushasana is looking. He ate the first, second, third. He finished the whole plate. Next one, he started 1, 2, 3, finished the whole plate. And Duryodhana and Dushasana is looking at each other. It's like, what's happening? It's supposed to be very, very, strong poison. He should be killed by now. Bhima was like, just eating, and after that, bring more. And they were like, what? Bring more. And Bhima was like having fun. He's saying, like, look, today my brothers, they are taking so much good care of me. Bring more. So anyway, they bring more, and he ate. But after some time in the evening, they see that, okay, there are signs they could see, Bhima was getting a little bit dizzy. He could, he's feeling sleepy. And then suddenly when all the other brothers went into other side, and Bhima said, okay, now I'm feeling sleepy. I'll sleep here. You guys all go and sleep, take rest. And he slept. So what happened then? Duryodhana and Dushasana, he tied, both of them, they tied Bhima's hand and legs. And they tied it with rocks, and they put rocks with the other side of the rope, so that what happened when they threw, so the idea was, threw him away in the river, so that he can go under the river, and the rocks, so his hand will be tied, and the rocks will not let him come up. So, and he will die, because he couldn't take, he couldn't breathe. That's what happened. They tied him, and then they threw him into the river. And it took him at the bank of the river. So anyway, what happened that, and this is that we see that different dimensions. Somehow or other, it was like the kingdom of the snakes. And Bhima was coming, and the snakes were saying that, oh, someone is coming, floating and coming. So they first thought that it might be food, but then they thought, it's really big. What is this? And then they started to bite that, object. Because what's with with the snakes, they usually don't attack you. Some snakes does, but it only attack when you either tread on their tail or you just come in front of them. So they were saying that this is just coming straight on them, and they started biting, left, right, center, anything, And so what happened, and this is all Krishna's, arrangements, when Bhima's body was totally poisoned, because of all this poison. And then when the snakes started to bite, also they were giving poison. So poison, as we know from the maths, negative become positive. So they were starting to bite, and then that poison started to go away. So what happened? And then Bhima regained consciousness. And then he just tore away his bonds, and then he grabbed hold of the longest of the snakes and started to beat all the other snakes. And he was beating like anything. And those snakes then ran away, and they went to the king, Vasuki, the king of the snakes. And they were like, oh, this someone just came, and they were beating us like anything. And if he goes like this, he's going to kill all the snakes today. So then Vasuki went there with his queens and with folded hands to Bhima and said that, look, and there is this link, I'm not sure, but somehow or other Vasuki has this relationship with the Kunti's side, So anyway, human and snakes, how that became, but something was there. And then Vasuki explained to Bhima that, look, I am your relative, okay? So please come and take our, we want to serve you. So Bhima said, okay. And he was after fighting, he was also, tired and hungry. So this is the thing with Bhima. When he gets hungry, he said, okay, that's fine. Let's go and eat. So they took him to the palace. So this is a celestial palace within the, in the river, in the banks of the river. Bhima sat there, and then they offered him elixir. Elixir is kind of a, celestial drink. So it's almost like amrita, not fully, but it's almost like that. It gives you strength, by the way. So they gave a pot of elixir, and they said, okay, take it, it's very good for you. Bhima took the pot and just drank it. And Basuki thought that whoever we gave it to it before couldn't finish half of the pot, because it's like, like when you have the example given, like when you have honey. Even if you have honey, like 2 spoons, you're like, oh, I can't have more than that. Bhima just had that whole pot and said, bring more. And they were like, okay. So they gave him more. And he started drinking more and more, more and more. And he almost finished all the pots of elixir. And then he said, okay, now I'm tired, I will sleep. Then he said, okay, you sleep. By the way, on the other side, now it's becoming night, and Kunti Maharani, she's like really worried, where is Bhima? And Yudhishthir and Arjuna is also trying to think. And by the way, they were like kids at that point of time. They were thinking like, what happened? Like, today something was like a little bit weird. Like, Duryodhana was really, really nice to us. Like, he wasn't passing comments to us, or like, something is different today. And now Bhima is missing. So somehow or other, Yudhishthir Maharaj, like, he was a very nice devotee, but he also at the same time, he was very intelligent. And he somehow or other, he found out that there is this plot of killing, like poisoning Bhima, and that's what happened. But he didn't say that to, like, either like to anyone. So he was diplomatic, but the true sign of a leader, that they are diplomatic, but they don't use diplomacy to harm anyone. So Yudhishthira Maharaj, like, he was just waiting, like, what's going to happen. So, but everyone was getting really worried and things like that. But, like, what's going to happen. But after the next day, Bhima came out of the water. And his body has a different shape. He became more powerful. And so what happened? And the Bhima went and told everything to Yudhishthir and Arjuna and the other Pandava brothers, that's what happened. So obviously, like, the brothers become, other than Yudhishthir, everyone becomes really enraged. They said, let's go and, like, go to the Kauravas. But Yudhishthir said, no, like, we are staying here with them. They are our brothers. So let's keep it to ourselves. Don't tell this to anyone. But from next time, be very careful. Whenever this kind of situation, especially Bhima, you become really careful. And Bhima was like, no, like, now I'm more powerful. Like, I can crush all of them. Yudhishthira said, no, they are your brother. So, like, don't harm them, but at the same time, become, like, you be careful with them. So then, obviously, like, things go on and things are happening, and then they grew up, and Duryodhana, like, that is the time nearing to make Yudhishthir prince, like that ceremony was about to happen. So Duryodhana said, and then at that point of time, Shakuni came into the picture. So, like, you already had one envious person, then another person comes, like, who was, like, as a associate of Duryodhana, and giving all this, like, vile, like, to telling him that do this, do that, to harm the Pandavas. So then Shakuni said that, okay, now is the time that you really have to take care of them. But you have to make sure in such a way that it looks like an accident, so that you don't, like, but if people knows that, like, you have killed the Pandavas, because the Pandavas, everybody loved them. They're very nice devotees. Very nice, very simple-hearted. They don't have any false ego. They are very, like, they mix with everyone. So you have to make sure it looks like an accident. So Duryodhana then thought about a plan. So there was a very nice forest. It's called Vanavat. And Duryodhana asked one of the architect Purochana that to go and make a castle. It should be made by lax. Lax, it's a very flammable object. He said that you make it, but inside the core should be made by lac, so that if you put fire, so it just burned within seconds. So they went, and then Duryodhana said, oh, brother, went to Yudhishthira and said, oh, brother, now as you're going to become the prince, you'll be really busy because there'll be so many things. So before that, why don't you go for a holiday? So I have made this palace for you, like, as you're my brother, and you are going to take this very, like, you'll be responsible for all of us. So as a token of appreciation, I have built this palace for you in Vanavat. So please go and stay there. Just have some time off. Yudhishthira said, yeah, that's fine. Thank you very much. Okay, so took and said, please make sure you take all your brothers and you all go and have a nice time. So also Kunti Maharani also accompanied them there. So they all went there and they saw, okay, this is a very nice place. And they stayed there. So the person who's like the architect, Duryodhana said that you remain there. And the day, when you see there is a good chance, you just put fire and run away. So what happened, and this again by Krishna's divine arrangement, one day there were some travelers who were passing through, and they were like exactly the same, one mother, a mother, and 5 children. So they were passing through. And they were passing through and they were looking at, because it's a forest, they are looking for somewhere to take rest. So obviously the Pandavas, they were very, very merciful. They said, why don't you come? We have this big palace. We are only 5 of us. Why don't you come and take rest there? Because, in the jungle, in the night, there might be dangers. And they agreed. They came to the palace and they stayed there. But somehow or other, that is the same day that person chose to put the fire. And while all these things are happening, Vidura, somehow or other, he found out that there is this plot happening to assassinate all the Pandavas. So Vidura quickly sent a letter to Yudhishthira. And when that letter came, that letter had double meaning. Those days, because it's for all the conspiracies and things like that, whenever you want to send something, he made it as a double meaning. So Duryodhana and Dushashan, they were thinking that why Vidura is sending a letter? Has he knew about our plan? So they opened the letter, they tried to read about it, they couldn't understand. They said, oh, this is just a simple letter, how you are and blah, blah, blah. So they passed it through. But when Yudhishthira read it, so he said that it gives some indication that there will be fire in the night and there is a tunnel under the, that palace. So Vidura built that tunnel. So the indication given to them that in the night there will be fire, you proceed to the tunnel. And in the night, that's what happened. The fire broke up and it's because it was went like anything very quickly, but Pandavas somehow and Kunti somehow managed to go inside this tunnel and they came out from the other side. But those travelers, the mother and the 5 children, they were burned. And after that happened, Duryodhana actually make sure that you got the bodies. So they went and they saw that there are 5 bodies. 5 male bodies and 1 female body. They said, yes, everybody is killed. And then Duryodhana came back with crocodile tear to the kingdom in front of everyone and said, we are very sorry to let you know that your beloved Pandavas, due to an accident, unfortunate accident, they all passed away. And the whole kingdom broke down, they were mourning. Anyway, on the other side, the Pandavas, they came out and then they thought, Yudhishthira made a call that, look, now it's going a level higher. Previously, they were trying to kill one of us with poison, but now they are trying to burn us. So you can see that the level of animosity is going up. So now we can't take any chances. Okay, let us disguise ourselves and stay here for some time. So they disguised themselves as brahmanas. And at that same point of time, this whole thing in the kingdom of Drupad, for Draupadi, the Swayamvar was happening. So all of them went there, and they were sitting there in the seats of the Brahmana. And when the time comes, they said, okay, is there anyone else who can do that thing, Lakshya-ved? So Arjuna stand up, and he was about to come. But somehow or other, Duryodhana was there. Krishna, Balaram, they were also there. Duryodhana was saying, this person doesn't look like a Brahmana. Brahmana is supposed to be a lean, thin person. This person is big. And, because Arjuna used to keep the arrows in his shoulder. So when you keep the arrows in your shoulder in that, like, thing, I don't know what you call that, but there is a mark happen on your shoulder because you are carrying it all the time. So they could also see that on the shoulder of that Brahmana, there is this, there are different, and also in their body also there are signs of like different wounds. I said, this shouldn't be a Brahmana. So Duryodhana stand up and say, "Hi, you can't, you are not allowed to come. You are a Brahmana, and also it's only for the Kshatriyas." And then obviously Krishna stood up and said, "Look, he's a simple Brahmana. All of you are and then Krishna was fanning their false ego. All of you are such big, generals, you couldn't do it. What chance he has? Just he probably a full Brahmana, okay? Just give him a chance. What's the harm? Give him a chance." So Arjuna came and he, he did it and married Draupadi. So, and then this flows one after another comes, and then from that, when the marriage happened, everybody knew that, okay, the Pandavas are alive. So Duryodhana was he was again very, very enraged, very angry. What's happening? What's happening? But then Vidura went to Dhritarashtra and said that, "Look, now the Pandavas, you have to now think very carefully. Now the Pandavas has sympathy. Okay? Everybody knew that Duryodhana tried to kill them. So rather than you do anything again to them, try to harm them, it's better give them something, the part of the, kingdom, and just, deal with it. Don't fight with them anymore." So although they were really, Duryodhana was dead against it, but as Vidura, Dhritarashtra saying, okay, Vidura is saying, right, let's give them Khandaprastha. The Khandaprastha was something it was like a big land with pile of stones, nothing else. There was no tree, nothing. It's just stone, stone, stone. You can't do any agriculture there. There is no water, nothing. So anyway, the Pandavas, they came to the palace, they met with Dhritarashtra, they thanked for Khandavaprastha, and they went to Khandavaprastha. And obviously then they built a, wonderful kingdom there in the Khandavaprastha, a celestial palace, who Mayadanov made that palace. So it was wonderful. So everything was happening so nicely in Khandavaprastha. So again, Shakuni and Duryodhana were saying that what to do. We have to, this can't go on. So again, they say, okay, now the next step is do that game. So Yudhishthir, they invited Yudhishthir to come and play. Yudhishthir was saying, now, playing this is against the dharma, because it's you shouldn't gamble. So Yudhishthir said that, we can play, but there will be no money. But I have you have given us a small portion of the kingdom, and I have very limited resources. Why you want to take it from me? Because I want to serve my kingdom with that. So they said, okay, there will be no monetary thing in this gambling. Okay? There will be no monetary thing. So the Yudhishthira is saying, okay, but let me first ask Krishna. So he went to Krishna and said that they have invited me for that. Should I go? Krishna said, yeah. Go. As a Kshatriya, it's also a rule that you should get involved in this kind of games. So Yudhishthira went. But then you see, Krishna asked, instructed him to go, so that, after that this disrobing of Draupadi happened, Kurukshetra happened, everything happened. If Yudhishthira wouldn't have played that, then nothing would have happened. But Krishna said, no, you go and do it. So, you see, one after this, Krishna is instructing them from every, in a way that they are getting into this situation, dangerous situation, but Krishna is taking them out. So every situation that we see, when the dangerous situation that they have, somehow or other, Krishna created that situation, but again, Krishna is the one who is taking them out from there in a glorious way. So the teaching from here is, when we go through this kind of situation, adverse situation, and injustice and things like that, sometimes we can think, oh, this is it's not only mechanical karma and things like that. Yes, that is there, obviously, that your karma fall and all those things, but it's more important to see the hand of Krishna in everything. So you see the hand of Krishna in there, because if Krishna has put you there, he will take you out. And he will make arrangement. And if you are sincere, you will see things will happen. That Krishna will make sure that he will take you out from there. Krishna is the ultimate protector. It's devotees, from grave situations that devotee has, came out. I was we heard about this, probably you have also heard about this incident when in 2011 in Mumbai there was a terrorist attack in the Taj Hotel, which is one of the biggest hotel in Mumbai. There was a big terrorist attack. So what happened, there was a bunch of terrorists who went into this hotel and started firing and throwing bombs and things like that. So there is this one Mataji who used to work there. And when she was saying, and literally she was saying that these people, they are shooting. And it's not like they're shooting only the guards or the men. They're shooting children, they're shooting anyone who are in front of them. So that lady went in under a table. There was it was a restaurant area. She went under the table. There was all corpses lying here and there. And she started chanting. She was chanting. And those terrorists, what they were doing, they were checking all the corpses. And if any corpse, they are feeling that it's not dead, they are putting another bullet into it. And they were also looking up beneath beneath the table, that if anyone there. So she could see that she was saying, and she was saying that person is walking up towards her. And that person is looking beyond, beneath each table also. And she was thinking, if this person looks under this table, I'll get hit either in my head or my chest, because that's how her position was. But she was just chanting, and for some reason, that terrorist didn't look under that table and just walked away from there. And that lady stayed there for 10 hours, because the siege was almost for 18 hours. And that lady was there for 10 hours, and she was chanting. She was just chanting. So when she, after the rescue and things like that, she came to ISKCON temple, and she was saying that, I felt I have a rebirth after that process. It was such a, when you have the near-death experience, your connection with the Lord becomes more stronger. So that's how that she felt. And another person who used to be a waiter, and this person is actually a devotee, an initiated devotee, and he was doing a job as a waiter there. And that person was was again on the firing line, and they were firing, and he saw there is a pillar. It's not a big pillar, it's like a small pillar. And he just went there and stand. So the pillar width is that much that cover his body. So he could feel bullet is going from here, bullet is going from there, but he was just standing like that. But he was standing in such a way that they couldn't see that behind the pillar there is someone, because they were randomly they were shooting. And he was just standing there, and he was and then he started chanting the Nishinga prayers. Please save me. So he stayed there for 6 hours. So later when he came and he was sharing this with the devotees, he was saying that for Prahlad Maharaj, Nishingadev came out of the pillar to save Prahlad Maharaj. I felt that Nishingadev was there as the pillar to save me. Because it was they were, and it was not they were firing from old guns. These are all modern technology, strain guns, which was giving 100 bullets at a time. It was spraying bullets. And he didn't get even a single bullet, whatever bullet, there was not a single scratch to his body. So this kind of situation, when you see, there was such a massacre and such a dangerous situation, they came out. So we know, Mare Krishna Rakhe Krishna Mare Ke. Krishna wants to kill, nobody can protect. If Krishna wants to protect, nobody can kill. So with these examples here in this verse, Kunti Maharani is actually showing that all these adversities have happened. But because of Krishna's presence, everything was they came out from all the situation. So we pray that, we're praying to Shri Shri Radha Gopinath that to also always protect us from all this kind of adversity. It is not like that we'll not go into the dangerous situation. We will. That is the material world. If you think that you will not be, then you're in a wrong place. You will be going into the dangerous situation, but we just pray that Krishna will take us out from there. So on that note, I'd like to end here. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Samveda Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki.